congratulations on your ASC award nomination.
Thank you so much. This is, it's very amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to, talk about your whole process of how you came on to this film, what really drew you to the subject matter.
So it was after the first wave of the pandemic that I got a call from first of a friend. So Shonak approached me via a friend. We have a common friend, and that was my luck because he gave him my contact. And Shonak knew my work with Viktor Kosakowski, whom I work since 2009 already. So he already was drawn to this kind of visual language in a documentary, and he was searching for that after working a lot with Verité in the development phase before, and he realized he wants to he wanted to search for a different kind of language, and that's why he approached me. And we started from there. We started a lot of talks and beautiful discussions about life and art and everything and cinema, and I decided that's very tempting, and hopped on a plane and suddenly found myself in Delhi.
If you've seen the film, the theme that runs through the film, the central idea that the film is based around is, the interconnectedness of species across, the plant or the animal kingdom. How everyone is just connected to the other, and that's something that that resonated with me immediately as soon as I spoke to Shonak about the idea the first time. That was sometime in 2021. And that completely got me hooked onto it. I think it's also an urgent question to address, especially in the way we build our factories, cause a lot of issues to the environment, especially in city spaces like in Delhi or in, say, Beijing or many other cities across the globe, and it's a global problem, I think, and at the same time, it also has a higher spiritual connotation to it. The whole interconnectedness of all species across, so that this kind of got me interested immediately in the film. Something that I personally feel for and think about a lot.
Yeah. How long did you shoot before production was shut down with COVID?
So the overall process of this film is several years, and before I was involved, there was another DP, Somo, who, as we know, documentaries take ages to fund. So they made we're shooting for the funding trailer and stuff like this, and then I came in, and I actually wasn't involved that long till the second wave hit in Delhi. And then luckily, Shonak found Riju, who does the very skilled Indian DP, who took over. So it was like we handed the camera from one to the other, and still it turned out to be a beautiful project and a beautiful result, luckily.
I joined in at a time after Bernhard, the other director of photography of the film, after he started the shoot. In early 2021, he started the shoot, and then the second wave of COVID hit Delhi, and unfortunately, the unit, the crew went down with COVID. And then Ben obviously had a scheduled return, so he had to leave for Germany again. And then as the second wave eased out a little bit, Shonak got in touch with me, and that's how I came on board. And so Shaunak was by the time Ben had left, they had already set a tone for how to shoot the film,
Mhm.
Somewhat of a tone. Unfortunately, the schedule got cut short, but a bit of the animals, the birds, a bit of the brothers, some of the brothers' scenes, and had already been shot. So a tone had been set, And so Shaunak was very clear about his vision for the film, and so when I joined in, it was, pretty easy for me to see what they were trying out, and and along with the fact, coupled with the fact that the subject I'm personally invested in the subject. I had my own uh, by the time Ben left, say, uh, you know, a lot of the shooting was still left, especially with the brothers. It was still left. So we still had to figure out exactly what the language for the film would be. But a tone had been set by Ben and Shauna.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to speak about the very unique visual style of this film that is so different from so many documentaries. We just live in the silence for so many moments, whether it's, watching the kites or watching, bugs on the surface of water just for minutes. We're really immersed in the world. Can you talk more about this really slow paced visual forward style that you created on this?
So, yeah, when I met with Shaunak, we talked a lot about what he wants to achieve in this documentary, and he wanted to capture the ecological doom that envelopes this mega city Delhi, but most of all, how climate change affects non-human life in the city, and how they react and how they adapt to us and how we behave. And yeah, so it's a film about coexistence. It's a film about interconnectedness. What we do has an effect on other beings and all this. And as I start talking about all these terms and ideas and the philosophy of it, that's what we did endlessly, talking. Shaunak, me, the first days, he's a very special, clever person, and it was fun to go with him, dive deep in this ideas and in concepts. So we were talking a lot about concepts we found in books or in literature and so on. Surprisingly, we didn't look at that many films, or as we normally do, right? We normally rather bring pictures and stuff like this. And of course, we had some references, but more like in terms of cinematic approach, not like visually as precisely. There, he trusted me totally, but we talked a lot about concepts, and the idea was then how to translate these concepts into the visual spheres, what we called to render the scientific into the poetic. And it was clear that we wanted to keep this, to show the interconnectedness. It was, for me, quite obvious to keep the unity of time, to not finger point, to not rather, if there's in the plant behind me, if there's a little bug sitting there and you see me and then I edit there, it's like finger pointing, right? It's like you show the audience, this is the same time, but if you take them with you and make them feel that it's the same time and make them understand themselves, I somehow felt this is the better approach. I like to shape reality in documentary, so it was always clear that it was supposed to be a bit more a poetic world, a bit more that it was supposed to be cinematic approach we wanted to have. But at the same time, it was also clear that we wanted to play with form outside the normal confines. I play with this style to keep the unity of the shot since several years already. in my work, also with Kosakowski, of course, and with in other projects. And luckily here it totally fit, and Shonak was open to it. And then, yeah, and from then on we tried a lot of things. And I think what also was really a breakthrough was that we thought a lot about, okay, we have this different human being, we have the human beings, but we also have all this variety of non-human beings that normally we look down or up or whatever. When thinking about how to capture how climate change affects the non-human life in the city, and how to reveal the smallest being against the backdrop of urban life in Delhi, we realized quickly that it was a lot about the perspective. It was not, the key was treat each animal as we treat each other, and that also includes, of course, film them in the same way. We film us mostly in our eye level or in something like this, and we're used to look at other beings from our perspective, and we wanted to honor each being, and therefore change this perspective and go on the eye level of each bird and so on. And yeah, for example, in the bird cage, you can see this a lot. When I arrived, they already shot like days in that cages, and Shonak said like, no, we don't have to film there, because of course I was like tempted to. I was like, give me a camera, let me go in there. It's like fascinating. And he was like, no, we have endlessly material from there. But then I showed him that I went down on the eye level of these birds and took the time for them to get to know me, and started bringing in tools to go through them. And by this, not only you honor them by being on their eye level and you show them in a different way, but at the same time you also could express the individuality and the single characters and so on. And yeah, like this we decided to treat each animal we found, each creature we found in this cosmos daily somehow.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to talk about the challenges of filming the kites. If what was that like to be so close to them, trying to film them, trying to not freak them out? How did you go about that?
Well, it was a challenge. I mean, filming non-human, but it doesn't matter if it's non-human life or if it's animals or human life. I mean, it's same with every creature out there. If I bump in with a camera, there will be first people, animals, they all will react to me. So it takes time, no matter if you film a person or a bird in a cage. It takes time till they let you in their life and they accept you and they trust you and so on. So no matter, I think also there we try to treat each creature in front of the lens same. So we shot endlessly with the brothers till they started, till they started to yawn. So that's when okay, now it's not spectacular that we are there anymore. And same was with the birds. There's this cage of hundreds of injured kites, and these are majestic, beautiful creatures. And they're like, of course, super spectacular when they're in the open sky, but as soon as they're in the cage, they're injured, they're a bit maybe sedated from operation or whatever, so they're of course scared. And you come in and it was always the key to approach very slowly. And in the beginning, they look at you and they're like, who are you? What do you want here? And then after a while, they get used to you. Probably you also start smelling the same. So after a while, they just treated me as another bird. And from then on, I could bring in some bigger tools and some more and some more. And then, of course, there's some kites that start like flying around and they start testing you, always the bold ones, right? Want to see how you react and so on. But yeah, I just calmly waited for them to accept me, and then I got rewarded, because then at the end there was the tracks in there, and we had like a jib arm and went through with the camera through the birds in between to show the individuality of each one of them. And then I even started, once they got used to us, I even slowly started to create some lighting setup, step by step, to bringing some take some mirrors and bringing some light beams and so on. Of course, there was also always the key to not harm them or not frighten them and so on. So it was very delicate. Took quite some time, but in the end, the idea was to just create this beautiful, to honor them in the beautiful way they are, and create like kind of paintings. They're so beautiful, and we wanted to show this to everyone.
Did you, collaborate with Ben? Did you speak about, what he'd already done, or was it kind of pretty distinct what he did and what you did?
Well, I didn't have a chat with Ben when I came on board, but we did, since Shaunak was so clear about how he wanted the film to be, his vision for the film, and him being a very articulate person, we were constantly talking. We were constantly, he was telling me about how he wanted to, we discussed a lot about how we wanted to shoot the brothers, the verite bit, especially when, they are in there doing their daily things, how they had been shooting the animals, with long, careful long pans, and shifting focus from one part of the frame to the other,
Yeah.
And together, Shaunak and I, we figured that, that we were trying to sort of, we would try to sort of aestheticize the treatment a little bit, and not shoot it like a verite documentary is generally shot, where you're running around with the camera on your shoulder, following your subjects.
Right.
But yeah, so we decided to kind of stay away from the characters a little, and just observe them. Put the camera on trolleys and on sliders, and just keep moving them at a safe distance. So, and they would keep doing their bit, the brothers, and so that what Shaunak and I arrived at for those bits happened to be in a very similar tone to what Ben and him had been doing before I joined.
Yeah.
So that way the language came together, the two languages came together, and but I didn't speak to Ben in terms of what he was trying, but whatever the two of us decided for the film happened to come together and blend in very smoothly. That was a lot of fun.
So, what is something that you're most proud of that you were able to accomplish with this film?
I'd say primarily the way we've managed to tell the story, without by pushing the boundaries of what non-fiction filmmaking can be. We didn't. We were sure that we didn't want to treat it like a everyday documentary film where you're just running around the subject with your camera. We tried to create a language for the film, and that is unlike documentary, for which we also like employed a lot of cinematic devices that you generally see in fiction films, like tracking shots or slow pans, slow long languishing pans, and or a slow shift of focus from one animal to the other animal. These are things you generally don't see in documentary films, but we were very conscious of the fact that we would try to redefine for ourselves what documentary filmmaking can be, and I think what we've managed to pull off in terms of how to tell the story is was quite satisfying for all of us, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, to add to it, the film is getting recognized world over at various festivals, and now it's reached a nomination with the Academy Awards, a
Right.
nomination for the cinematographers from the ASC, which is no less than a dream come true, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, did
So,
you have any inkling that the film would have the success that it's had?
none at all. None at all,
Yeah.
honestly. Why? None
Yeah,
at
I
all.
think it, really resonates with people, not only because the story is very topical and important right now, but also, because it's a great blend between documentary. I mean, it is a documentary, but a very cinematic one. And I think that really
Right.
speaks to people as well.
It creates an awareness. I talked to a lot of people who came to us and they thanked us for giving them an insight, what they call opening how I see the world. But of course, was not the idea. I didn't want to tell anyone how we see the world. The idea was more they got an idea that there's other creatures around us everywhere, every single moment. And I think this is beautiful that people start understanding. And of course, it's I mean, every filmmaker, every artist is happy if what we do has an effect on people, and if people like or appreciate it. Of course, but more than that, it's just beautiful that that you show new things to people and make them see the world in a different way, maybe, and be more aware, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, are there any of your fellow nominees' work, whether it's other documentaries or anything that really inspired you this year that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Other nominees, I haven't seen all the other films that have been nominated, but I saw Fire of Love, and both our film and Fire of Love were playing in Poland in the Camera March Film Festival,
Yeah,
which is also like centered around cinematography. You know,
right.
one of the very few festivals that's
Yeah.
centered around cinematography, and uh, so I happened to meet Ed Lachman there while I was there in Poland, and the ASC president was also there, and um, uh, Fire of Love has I've really loved that film. You know, really love that film, and it's really unique, I think, and it 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 is done again. It in its own way, it pushes the boundaries of non-fiction filmmaking, because it uses a lot of footage that had been shot by the subjects themselves, and they have edited the footage and also shot some more, but they've edited that to make the film, and I think that's fantastic. I really enjoyed that film. I haven't seen the other films that have been
Yeah.
nominated, so I won't be able to speak about them.
Yeah, that's
But
totally fine. It's not easy to get to see everything for sure. And those are really the things I wanted to ask you about the film. Is there anything in particular I haven't asked about that you'd like to share?
I hope the film speaks for itself, and I hope people. I mean, the most beautiful thing about everything that happens now, we're so honored to be ASC nominated. It's beyond imagination, and also everything that is happening with this film, the journey it took the last year. It's so beautiful that it just gets out in the world and gets seen. So I hope that more and more and more people will see it. So I think I don't need to talk about it. I'm happy to share anecdotes when I meet everyone. I'm very thrilled to come to the awards and to meet everyone in person, and meet these people I learned from, and oh, wow. Yeah, and then I'm happy to talk more, but I think the film stands for itself, and I hope everyone who has a question can reach out that's what social media is for. And I think all of us, we are happy to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's simply beautiful that this film is out in the world and people see it.